Now, welcome to the episode that I'm calling, You Sorry Son of a Bitch. Let's do this. What's up, guys? What is happening, cupcakes? It has been a while. Man, it is echoing in here. The shop is functional, but I don't have any place to put anything now. So, first order of business, we got to build a bench. And that bench is going to go right over here. So I already cut a couple supports because I forgot to turn the camera on. So now we are going to build the bench. I will pop up what the bench is supposed to look like, and we will try to make sure it looks like that at the end. But honestly, the reason I say that is because I did make plans for this bench, but you run into little things along the way that you may have to adjust. One of those main things being, the way I've made this bench is that part of the leg structure is actually going to stack on top of the plywood and then be a support, and then plywood and so on. Plywood is not really 3/4 of an inch thick. It's a little thinner than that. But when I was making the plans, I made that 3/4 of an inch thick. So once I get the base built out and attached to the wall and everything, those measurements are going to change just a little bit. So I'm not sure if you guys want plans for this, because this is kind of a hulking beast of a bench that's going to be L-shaped and in a corner. If you do want plans, let me know in the comments, and I will definitely make those available. But just know that when you're building something like this, you might have to change it up on the fly a little bit. So I would not cut all of the lumber at once. Now, when you're cutting a section, I would cut all those pieces at once. So I cut the two long stringers at once. I'm going to cut both ends at the same time, because if you're off of one of those cuts, but you cut them together, then they should be off by the same amount. But as I go up, I'm probably going to have to readjust a little bit. Probably not on the middle section, on the L side, because I'm not married to the measurement. If it's a little off. But as I'm going all the way up to the top of the bench, I'm probably going to have to readjust those, because there's going to be those little tiny bits, ladies, 6 inches, right? Those little tiny bits that aren't going to add up over time. So the plywood's going to be a little thinner. That's going to offset me by a 1/16 of an inch. You definitely want to kind of build this in sections. If that makes sense. It makes sense. Let's do this.
Always cut those gnarly ends off your 2x4s. They are no bueno. Then I like to use a clamp on the end to help the two pieces stay square to each other as I cut them. And then we give them a little chopperoo. It's probably overkill to use that corner clamp on the framing, but what I've discovered is the more you start out of square, the more your project will exponentially become off. However, you'll see the trials and tribulations of working with construction lumber before we're finished.
Those little tiny, C hairs that were off.
I strongly suggest pre-drilling your holes so the lumber doesn't split. However, you probably don't need to use this countersink bit. It was already on the flip and drill. Sue me.
This is what they mean when they say sweet, sweet Home Depot white pine, baby. So this actually isn't too bad. There's actually kind of a chunk out down here, so that's not too bad. This lines up pretty good, but a lot of times, if you see, it lines up at the top and not at the bottom. Yeah, and I can't even twist that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to line it up towards this edge and have this in a little bit, because the deck is going to sit on top of here. But with this kind of lumber, you're never going to get perfectly straight boards. It just doesn't happen. You're lucky if you get halfway straight boards. Look, it's Ron Jeremy.
So here I'm using a 2x4 as a stop block on my miter saw, because the built-in stop can't handle something this short, unlike your mom. The beams in the middle of the deck provide support, kind of like the opposite of your dad.
Dip, dip, dip. Now this deck is what this whole side of the bench is going to build off of. So you'll see me lift it up. We're going to attach it to the wall. I've got to build the legs for the front of it first, because those are going to hold the other side. But from here on out, when I look at my measurements, I'm also going to take a measurement and use the actual measurement versus measurement for my planes. That's what I'm talking about once you start doing additive building, once you start building on top of something you already built, especially if you're like me and you're not very good at it. It's pretty solid. It's only got a little bit of rock in it, and my floor's probably not completely level either. So, like this. Oh, it's enough. What do you think? It's my Austin Powers.
Next up, legs. These little feet are where the first deck will rest.
When I'm working on these leg assemblies, I want to make sure that the leg piece is flat with the front piece. So you want to find something flat. And since I just have the frame right here, I can just line these two up, punch a couple of screws in there, and we should be good. Perfect. One leg down. The one thing that I did that I just smart, I hope, is since this is going to attach to the wall and it's just me having to put it up there, I made these feet on the bottom 3.5 inches, which is the width of a 2x4. So even like you see here, the way I have this sitting here, I have this sitting on several other of the legs turned sideways because those should all be 3.5 inches too. So that should be square. The other thing they'll let me do is when I go to put it against the wall, I can put a 2x4 underneath it, and that'll hold it in place while I'm putting it against the wall since there will be legs on the back. So I hope it was a good move. Also, I know some of you guys are probably going to be questioning the fact that the garage slopes. The garage doesn't really slope that much. It's probably like 1/16 of an inch or something crazy like that. It's very minimal. It's very demure. So I'm not going to mess with it. When I go to put the bench top on, I'm going to shim it and level the top of it because I really don't care if the shelves underneath have a little bit of a pitch one way or the other. But I do care if the work surface itself is flat like your mama. Level, not really flat. Flat and level. Like your mom.
You'll see me use one of those fancy electronic stud finders as well as an old school magnetic one. I just find the magnetic one to be more accurate.
Always remember to give it a tug and say, "That's not going anywhere." Smurf fingers. So what we're doing on the L-shaped part is a little different because I want to have a place to sit at the bench. But it's pretty much rinse and repeat of the first base, first deck, except we're going to build these little boxes. Now these boxes might look funny, and I'm not sure I'm crazy about the joinery, but I wanted to have as few faces showing as possible. So it kind of does this thing where normally, I don't know, this would come out here or something. It made sense when I was making the drawing.
Now I'm just attaching the legs to the other side.
Now, I'm going to take my measurements directly from this bench because, like I said, we have the most quality wood that Home Depot offers. The creme de la creme. And sometimes, even the creme de la creme is a little off. But I'm going to take my measurements directly from this because I want it to fit. And if it's a little askew or something, I would rather it cover everything and not look janky AF. That's janky as for you guys that don't know what AF means.
I finally broke down and bought a track saw. I don't know how I ever lived without one. You can do this on a table saw, but with one person it's awkward, and I've never been able to get an accurate cut with it. This cut is what we call in the biz right on the mother trucking
Highest quality plywood, baby. Woo! But it fits.
like butter.
Like butter.
A little sanding to pretty it up, and I'm using some spray Varathane just to give it a little protection. This protection won't fit in your wallets, kids.
All right, so typically today is my day off. The kids are home from school, so I'm kind of inside with them most of the day. But I did want to come out and get the dock laid, so I did that. And since I'm out here, I think I'm just going to cut and put in the supports for the next level. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so we have this leg, and then we have this kick out below it. This is 3.5 inches, and it comes up here, and this 2x4 sits on top of that. And so what we're doing is we're doing kind of additive joinery. Instead of notching out a 4x4 right there, we just made our second little piece. That allows me to put this piece of plywood flat on there. I don't have to cut anything out or cut a notch for it. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put another support up here. Over on this side, we're gonna put a support that runs from here to about here, put another shelf in, and then another support up to the top. And then once we have both of those supports run all the way up, then we'll be able to put our deck on. Does it make sense? Probably not. If it doesn't make sense to you, it makes sense in my head. So I don't know if this will help, but this is what the side is gonna look like. So here we have our 3.5 inch piece. Then we have our piece that runs to the wall. So the deck part, that's plywood. And then we have another 2x4 that runs up here, another deck that's gonna run out there, and then one more piece of plywood that's gonna run up to there. Right now we need to do these 4 back supports.
That sucks. I don't know if you can see those little pieces of glass. I cleared the most of the glass off here. I dropped my camera. It's just the tripod, when I set it down, all the legs didn't go on. So there is a filter on the front of that to protect the lens, but see how it's flat right there now? I don't know if you can see that, but it's bent, so I can't unscrew that. And I have no idea if this lens still works or not. I guess I'm gonna have to go test it.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me, baby? Okay, I think the camera's still functional. If it's not, and this is all messed up, I apologize. This has all kind of been relative measurements all the way around. I need to attach these to the back, and I could like pocket hole them, but I get the jig out stuff. I don't know where it is. So I'm just gonna pull this whole thing out of the screw them in for the back, and then we'll put this back on and use Tapcon screws to get us stuck to the wall. Using these trim screws to hold the decking down, the plywood down. They have really tiny heads. Can you see that? Okay, so focus on that. There we go. So it's got just a little tiny head, and they bury themselves into the wood. So you've got just a tiny little hole, and I don't even know if I'm gonna fill them, man. I'll probably just put them down. A lot of people say that they screw the top of the workbench down, or they screw from the bottom or something like that, because if it gets torn up, they're gonna replace it. I honestly don't know anybody that's ever replaced their workbench top. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I have never done it. So if it comes down to that, probably just build something new, man. But if I want to, I can take them off with these guys and pop it up and everything. So we're not gonna glue it down or anything crazy like that.
And if you're not dancing in the shop, are you really building, bro?
It is time for an upper decker. Let's put the top on. And this is me realizing another boo-boo in the design. Let me show you. So I have this thing set up, see, 5.5 inches, and it goes all the way along to here. But in order for me to do that, that means I have to construct all of this back part in one piece and lay it on there. And me no likey to do that. That's gonna be super heavy. It's gonna be super awkward. It's gonna be really hard to get in. I'm gonna go change the design. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shorten this to where this piece right here is all one deal. And then we'll figure out what we need to do back here to make that work too. Okay, so let's talk about 11th hour changes. Well, first let's talk about squaring everything up. So I cut a little bit off this end to make this end square and go up against the wall. However, I do still have this gap here. But, can you see that gap? Am I pointing at the gap? This gap right here. Right there. Don't mind my senseless beating of the wall. However, the game plan was always to trim this out. So this is basically how cabinet makers and stuff like hide the little things. Probably not that bad. I'm just horrible. I have this trim here, and this is just going to slide over here, and you're never going to see it. So that's going to hide that. And I have this gap here, but I think like we're just going to run that all the way out, and then we're going to run trim along here. That was always the plan to kind of finish it out, so you don't have this ugly business. But my 11th hour change is this. Okay, originally this side was going to be like this side, and the fact that it butted right up against these are very close. I already cut this board, so I'm not going to mess with it now. But I like the fact that I have overhang over here, so I don't think I'm going to cut this. I think I'm just going to leave this the way it is. Obviously, I'm going to need a lot more trim because I was going to trim this different to begin with. Like, I think I like that overhang. I like to be able to clamp on this if I need to. So instead of trimming this down any further, I think I'm just going to let it overhang on those two things, and let the trim kind of do its thing for everything else. Trust the process, even if the process changes like 1,000 times, right? All right, so what we're looking at right now is probably $4,000 bench, lumber, fasteners, things like that. I'd originally spent another 30, maybe 40 bucks on 1x2 oak to trim it out, but we've decided we're going to change that up a little bit. So I did go buy some more. So now with what it's going to look like in the end, it's probably going to be like more like a $450 bench. But right now, what you're looking at, totally doable for under $400. Plenty of workspace and things like that. But now we got to make it pretty. Oh, so pretty.
It's pretty. It's so pretty.
Gentlemen and ladies, it's time to glove up. We're going to give this bench the finest rectal exam ever. Just kidding. We are going to do a couple of coats of wipe on poly.
I wanted to make sure to get 2 coats down before I put the trim on, just so I could get the poly all the way to the corners of the workbench.
Back over here, we're going to hold this up, and if you can see that, it is right on the corner. So we're going to nail this business in. Turn and give it a little run.
As I'm watching this, I realize I never talked about painting the legs. Purely optional. Now all I'm doing is trimming the rest of the bench out. I'm taking relative measurements and going back to the miter saw and cutting them to fit. And bam, just like that. That bench is done, son. Is it perfect? No. Is it gonna do the job? Hell yes. If you like this video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, stay groovy, kids!
I feel like I'm jerking off the tripod.